Hey guys, today I'm going to be tackling 6 thrift store transformations, including a dated $1.50 table that I picked up that looked completely hopeless. I'm going to be doing custom decoupage, turning a broken clock into a literal fairy tale, and I'm going to show you a few designer secrets to make cheap trash look incredibly expensive. So grab a cozy drink and let's get flipping. I have been hanging on to this footed tray that I got at Goodwill quite a while ago. It says $5.79 on the back, but I'm pretty sure I had a coupon for this one, and I think it cost me around $2. To begin this one, I'm going to remove the little feet on the bottom. They're easy enough just to twist off, and then they're actually holding the handles on the top. I am going to remove the bamboo handle part from this, and I'm just going to use the steel. I'm going to give these a good coat of spray paint with this black flat spray paint, and while that's drying, we're going to prepare our tray part. Now, this has a nice beveled glass edge on the top. I actually don't really like the beveled edge. I would rather something nice and flat. So I'm actually going to flip this around and I'm going to use the bottom side for the top. I have this cello gift wrap that I got at Dollarama quite a while ago. I really like the pattern on it, but I don't want this black showing through. So I'm going to give it a good 2 coats of paint. I'm just using a flat acrylic paint here from Craft Smart. I think the color is Natural Buff, and I'm going to do 1 coat, let that dry, and then I'm going to pounce on my second coat so that I don't have any brush strokes on my paint. So once that dries, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prepare my hardware now. So the black spray paint has fully dried, and I'm just going to go over it with some gold rub and buff in the shade European Gold, and this is going to give these a realistic, really nice gold finish. Once my pink paint is dry, I'm going to go ahead and put on some Mod Podge with a foam pad, and then I'm just going to lay my cello wrap over top and smooth it out. Now the Mod Podge was kind of bunching up underneath here, so I just used this flat scraper just to smooth it out completely. Once it was dry, I trimmed off the excess, and I really wasn't liking the edge here that you could still see the black from before. So I just took some washi tape that I had and I put it around the edge and folded it over, and I thought it gave it a nice little border around the tray. Once I had put the washi tape around all 4 sides and it was securely stuck on, I just had to put the tray back together with the hardware. So it was easy enough just to reattach the little knobs on the top and the little feet on the bottom. And like I mentioned before, I did remove the bamboo handles, and I just wanted the gold bar across instead of the wood, and I think this looks so chic and elegant. Does anybody else remember making dioramas in public school? Those were always my favorite projects. And when I came across this little brass clock at the thrift store, I had the idea to make a little diorama inside the back. I wanted to do it in the front in the glass, but I couldn't actually get it apart. And then there's this little door compartment here, and I thought, actually, you know what? I'm kind of glad I couldn't get the front apart because I think the door area is just so much cuter. So I did cut down a piece of craft wood to fit in the back just because there were some bumpy areas where all the clock pieces were, and I wanted a nice flat surface. So this craft wood from Dollar Tree is super easy just to cut with an X-Acto knife. I measured and cut it to fit. And then I have these replica pages that I got from Temu. I browsed through my designs. I decided I like this one with the lettuce on it, and I'm just going to cut it out to fit over my wood piece. I'm going to put some Mod Podge down onto the piece of wood and then smooth the paper over top and let that fully dry. Once it's dry, all I have to do is just cut off the excess paper around it, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue it inside the back of the clock. I did add a layer of Mod Podge over top of the paper as well, just to add that extra layer of protection. For inside, I also have these little stickers that I got from Temu too. When I ordered these, I didn't realize it was just one full sheet of stickers. They're not actually cut out around the animals, so you kind of have to cut them out yourself, which is really silly and weird, and I don't know why you wouldn't want them cut out individually, but I'm determined to use them and not let them go to waste. It's a bit of a pain to have to cut them out, but I'm going to use them, and I'm just going to try and cut out as close to the mouse as I can. I did put it on a piece of cardstock just to give it a little extra stability while I was cutting around it too. So I put some hot glue in the back of the clock, just in the four corners on the little ledges that were there. And then I just put my piece of paper back there that's mounted to my wood and let it set on the hot glue. To finish up the edges and make them a little more cleaner and not so unfinished, I have these gold beaded stickers. I'm just going to place those down along the sides. I do believe I got these at Dollarama. They were a little tricky to get in, so I had to use a pair of pliers just to push them into place. For the bottom part of the clock, I'm going to add some faux moss just around the bottom with some hot glue. And then I have these tiny little mushrooms. I got these at Len's Mills and I picked them up not knowing what I was going to use them for, and I'm so glad I grabbed them because they were the perfect touch for this project. So I cut off 3 of different sizes and I just hot glued them into the moss, and then I could add my little mouse in the middle. Now it was a little flimsy, so I did cut a piece of craft wood to fit on the back just so that it would stand up nice and straight and not flop over. And then all I had to do is add a little bit of hot glue and stick this right into the moss as well. And this project is finished. This is so cute and whimsical. I just love it, and I think it's just a neat little upcycle for an old broken clock. Let me know what you think of this one in the comments.
Ordinary day. Sun is peeking through. Feel the winds are changing as I breathe in air that's new. Flowers coming into bloom.
I picked up this frame for $1.50. It's a great little frame, but it's tired and dated, and the mat definitely needs an upgrade. And in fact, when I pulled it out, I'm pretty sure it was just cut by hand out of computer paper. So we're going to give it a nice farmhouse upgrade. So I have this nice striped farmhouse fabric. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my mat over top of it, and I'm going to cut around it, leaving about a 2-inch border around. And then I'm just going to take some hot glue and I'm going to fold over the fabric onto the mat border. I'm going to do it on both the long sides, and then I'm going to do the shorter sides, flipping it over top of the folds that I've already made. I'm not too worried about the edges here because it's going to be inside of the frame, so I'm just putting the hot glue, folding it over, and then I just take a pair of scissors and I just cut on an angle and cut off the excess so it's not in the way. I mean, you could do a nicer corner, but for me, I thought it was just easier just to do it this way. So I'm just folding it over now and finishing that off. And then to cut out the center of the mat, I just put it down on a piece of cardboard and I take an X-Acto knife and I make a long diagonal cut from corner to corner on each side. Once I've done that, then I take a smaller pair of scissors and slit it in just to finish the cut and make sure it cut all the way through, going all the way up to the corner. Then I'm just going to come in with some hot glue again after I have these corners cut, and I just have to fold this back over. Now, because the triangle pieces are longer than the mat, you are going to have to trim them up a bit. So when you fold it here, you'll see the triangle goes over further. So you just take a little pair of scissors and just cut off whatever's overhanging, and then you reattach the fabric with some hot glue. So once I've done that and I've attached all the fabric, my mat is now covered in this gorgeous farmhouse fabric, and we have a new upgraded mat for our picture. Now I wanted to create some art to go inside of this frame, and I wanted something a little bit different. So I have these papers from Temu. I got them in the same pack that I got with the horticultural papers that I used in the last project. These ones are meant to look like dictionary pages, so I didn't harm any books. These were pre-printed. And then I have these stamps that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to stamp on some designs here. They're all from the same pack at Dollar Tree, and I'm just using a black ink pad that I also got at Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to put this inside the frame, and this project is done. Super easy and a quick little project. This took me maybe 20 minutes to do.
It's been a while, but I knew this day would come and ease my mind. I'm on my way. I don't know where I'm going, but I'll be okay.
I came across this really cool house looking thing at Goodwill, and I just had to have it. It was $4.79. I knew it could be something so cool. I'm not exactly sure what it was. It has a little British Queen Elizabeth emblem thing on the top, so I think maybe it was made to like house like a British Guard, Palace Guard statue. Sorry, I'm not sure if that's the right word or not. But I want to give it a little bit of a makeover. I really like the color of it, so I tried to match it as best I could with paint that I already had on hand. So I have this paint called Jitterbug from Country Chic Paint. It wasn't an exact match, but it's pretty close, and I really love this color anyways. So I just gave it a nice fresh coat of paint, and then I placed it down on some scrap paper, and I just traced around the back. I want to make a template so that I can put some fabric on the inside. So I traced around the back to get the general shape, and then I flipped it over and I traced it again from the back side, making sure to slim it down a bit because obviously the inside is smaller than the outside. And then once I had my template done, I could cut some fabric. I have this beautiful fabric left over from a previous project. It's got some beautiful butterflies on it. I put my template in the middle where I wanted so I could get the most butterflies I could on the fabric in my little piece. So I put the Mod Podge down on the back of the house, and then I put the fabric in place using a flat scraping tool just to smooth it out and make sure I got rid of any air bubbles. I let that fully dry, and then just to finish off this house and give it a bit of depth and dimension, I did add some antiquing wax to the sides and some of the edges. This is from Country Chic Paint. It's like a brown antiquing wax. I love it. I use it so much, and I think it just adds a nice little rustic touch to any piece. So I just smoothed it on using an old sock on some edges where I thought there would be natural wear and tear on this little house. And with that, this one is finished. I put a little candle inside. Now, obviously, I'm not going to light this candle in here. I'm going to see if I can find a battery operated one to go in here, but this is what I had for now, just to give you the idea and the look.
My way, and there's no time to waste right now. On my way, walking on the footpath, on my way to the sky.
Little mini kitchen lamps have been trending for quite a while now, and when I saw this tiny little lamp at the thrift store for only $6.50, I knew it was the perfect fit for my cottagecore kitchen. It just needs a little bit of a makeover. So to begin, I'm going to remove the top part of the lampshade, and also I'm going to remove the stickers, and I'm going to clean up the brass just with a little bit of baby wipe, making sure to get rid of any residue. I'm going to use some painter's tape to wrap around and protect off the crystal area of the lamp that I don't want to get spray paint on. I love this painter's tape that actually has a plastic tarp attached right to it because I find you can cover so much area with it. I'm going to tape off the top portion as well where the light bulb goes to make sure I don't get any spray paint in there, and as well I'm going to tape off the cord to make sure I don't spray paint that. Once I've got it all taped and ready to go, I'm going to take it outside and give it a good coat of black spray paint. I'm going to let that black spray paint fully dry, and then once it's dry, I'm going to come in with my rub and buff in European gold. The reason why I do the black spray paint first before just going in with the rub and buff is I find that the rub and buff sticks a lot better if you do that first coat of spray paint, and as well you get a better coverage with the rub and buff. It's not so sheen and sheer. You get it so that it just looks realistic and like it was always this gold color all along. I did the top and bottom part, and then I removed the plastic tarp to reveal the beautiful glass crystal in the middle. And this lamp was such a quick and easy makeover, and it totally suits the aesthetic of my kitchen and looks great in this darker corner. Let me know what you think of this one in the comments.
I feel more alive. I'm on my way. I don't know where I'm going.
I came across this tiny side table at the thrift store for only $1.50. I thought that was such a great deal. The only problem is one of the legs was a little wobbly and it was barely hanging on. So I just took out the screw and I added a little bit of Gorilla Glue into the slot where the leg sits, and then I pushed it back in, let the Gorilla Glue set and firm up, and then I put the screw back in, and that totally fixed this little wobbly leg. Now I can go ahead and give this table a much needed makeover. My original plan was to sand it down and restain it into a more modern look, but once I started sanding, I realized it wasn't actually real wood and it was just MDF underneath. So I had to pivot and I decided to go with paint. So I have this licorice shade from Country Chic Paint. I'm going to go ahead and paint the entire table. I started with a brush, but it was leaving too many brush strokes because of the high sheen finish. So I decided to switch to a foam pouncer, and this gave me much better coverage on this wooden table. Once the paint had fully dried, I decided I wanted something a little colorful for the top. So I have this fabric. I got this at Walmart, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it on with some Mod Podge. So I put some Mod Podge all over the top of the table, making sure to get the top part and as well as the sides so that the fabric completely drapes over. I did half to start, so I put my fabric in place and let it really stick down and let the Mod Podge grab. I did this so that when I did the second half of the table, I could pull the fabric really tight and that I would get no wrinkles and no seams in the fabric. So I finished off the next half of the table once the first part had dried, pulled the fabric really tight. You can see me pulling it there so that, like I said, I don't get any wrinkles in the fabric. Once the fabric and the Mod Podge had fully set, I cut off the excess overhanging fabric, and then I used a crown stapler and a combination of hot glue just to tack the overhanging fabric underneath of the rim of the table, and you don't see this at all. Once I had finished this part attaching the fabric and it was all secure in place, I did have these holes on the legs where I think maybe some little wood pieces were probably here filling these in and covering the screws before, but since they're no longer there, I decided to take these velvet thumbtacks that I picked up at Dollar Tree and add some hot glue and push these down in to fill those holes. I was going to leave them the nice navy blue, but I thought it was just a little too stark and they were popping just a little bit too much. So once I had put them all in and they were secure in place, I did decide to go ahead and paint over them with the licorice paint, the same paint that I did the legs. And this just blended them a lot more and made them look a little more cohesive. To seal in the fabric and so that I could actually use this as a table, I added this triple thick glaze over top from Decor. I used a little piece of craft wood just to smooth it out so that I wouldn't have brush strokes. Now I am going to be honest with you guys, I was not actually very happy with this glaze on this project. I've used the glaze before and I love it. You've seen it in my other videos, but for some reason it didn't actually cure and set properly over top of this fabric, and I don't know why. Maybe I applied it too thick in areas, I'm not sure, but it didn't really give me the perfect finish that I was looking for. You can let me know in the comments if I'm just being too picky or over particular. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever done, but it's not the best. But let me know in the comments what you think.
I'm on my way, and there's no time to waste right now.
So that's it for this one, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed these 6 thrifty upcycles. I hope they've inspired you to head out to your local thrift store and see what you can find. Let me know in the comments what you thought of these DIYs. I love reading your guys' comments. They mean the world to me. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on another video. Don't forget to hit subscribe.